The boardroom smells like leather and power. 37th floor. Manhattan skyline bleeding through floor-to-ceiling windows. Marcus Vaughn sits at the head of a table built from Brazilian walnut, 52 years old, $7 billion in assets, and absolutely no patience for whatever circus his assistant just allowed into his sanctuary. A boy stands in the doorway. 14, maybe 15. Worn sneakers. Thrift store jacket. Backpack with a broken zipper. "Mr. Vaughn," the boy says. His voice doesn't shake. "I can fix your company." The room goes silent. 3 senior executives freeze mid-breath. Marcus leans back, a smile spreading across his face like oil on water. "Security," Marcus says into his phone. "Your stock drops 12% every quarter," the boy continues, stepping forward. "You're hemorrhaging talent. Your flagship product has a design flaw that'll surface in 8 months. And everyone in this room knows it except you." Marcus's smile turns to stone. His finger hovers over the intercom button. "You fire people who tell you the truth," the boy says. "So they stop telling you." The executives won't look at Marcus. That's when he knows. The boy isn't guessing. Marcus stands slowly. 6'3". Custom Italian suit. Voice like gravel. "Get out." The boy doesn't move. "Your name was respected once. Now it's feared. There's a difference. And that difference is costing you everything." Marcus's hand trembles. Just slightly. Just enough. World of the investor. Marcus Vaughn's penthouse sits empty 23 hours a day. Smart home system. Heated floors. Art collection worth $18 million. A fridge containing 3 takeout containers and expired milk. He stands at the window at 2 a.m., scotch in hand, watching the city that made him. 3 ex-wives. 2 estranged children who only call through lawyers. A father who died thinking Marcus had become the kind of man who mistakes cruelty for strength. His phone buzzes. Another executive resignation. That's for this month. Vaughn Industries was built on innovation. 20 years ago, Marcus was the disruptor. The visionary. The guy who saw what others couldn't. Now his company makes incremental updates to products that don't excite anyone. Including him. But he can't admit that. Admission is weakness. Weakness is death. His reflection in the window looks older than it should. Harder. Lonelier. He checks his phone again. Market futures. Down. Always down. The boy's face flashes in his mind. Those eyes. Steady. Unafraid. Marcus pours another drink. World of the boy. Daniel Torres wakes up at 5:30 a.m. in a 1-bedroom apartment he shares with his mother and younger sister. He makes breakfast. Packs lunches. Helps Sophia with her math homework while his mother sleeps after her night shift at the hospital. His bedroom is a closet. Literally. But the walls are covered with papers. Business models. Market analyses. Product designs. Code architecture. Things a 14-year-old shouldn't understand, but Daniel understands perfectly. His mother works 70 hours a week. Barely keeps them afloat. Daniel used to help by working part-time until he realized something: he could think his way out better than he could work his way out. He taught himself economics from library books. Coding from YouTube. Business strategy from leaked internal memos he found in recycling bins outside corporate offices. He's not just smart. He's survival smart. The kind of intelligence that comes from necessity. His phone alarm goes off. Time for school. But first, he opens his laptop and checks Vaughn Industries stock. Studies their quarterly reports. Their patent filings. Their executive turnover rate. He's been watching Marcus Vaughn for 2 years. Ever since his mother mentioned that her hospital's medical supply contractor got bought out by Vaughn Industries and immediately cut quality to boost margins. Ever since patients started suffering from defective equipment because Marcus Vaughn prioritized profit over people. Daniel closes his laptop. His mother stirs in the next room. "I'm fixing this," he whispers to himself. First confrontation. Daniel shows up at Vaughn Industries headquarters every day for a week. Security throws him out 6 times. On the 7th, he bypasses security by following a catering delivery to the executive floor. He finds Marcus in a strategy meeting. Walks right in. "You're dying and you don't even know it," Daniel says. Marcus looks up from a presentation about third-quarter projections. His jaw tightens. "You again. Your competitor filed a patent 3 months ago that makes your primary revenue stream obsolete. You missed it because your legal team is too afraid to bring you bad news." That's, one executive starts. "Patent US 2024-77438892, Daniel says. Filed by Helix Technologies. Approved 2 weeks ago. It's public record. None of you checked." An executive quickly pulls up the patent office website. His face goes white. Marcus stands. "You're a child playing detective. This is corporate espionage. This is public information," Daniel says. "And basic due diligence. Which apparently nobody here does anymore because you yell at them. Who sent you?" Marcus's voice drops to something dangerous. "Nobody sent me. I came because somebody has to tell you that you're running your company into the ground and taking good people with you." Marcus walks toward him. Slowly. "I built this company from nothing. I turned $50,000 into $7 billion. Who are you to tell me anything?" "I'm someone who still believes the company you built matters," Daniel says quietly. "Even if you don't anymore." The room holds its breath. Marcus's face flushes red. "Get him out. Now." 2 security guards appear. Daniel doesn't resist as they escort him out. But as he reaches the door, he turns back. "You asked who I am," Daniel says. "I'm the last person who'll tell you the truth before it's too late." The door closes. Marcus stands frozen. His executives avoid his eyes. One of them clears his throat. Should we look into that patent?" Marcus throws a water glass against the wall. Public humiliation. The quarterly shareholder meeting. 400 investors. Financial press. Analysts. Cameras. Marcus delivers his prepared remarks. Growth projections. Strategic initiatives. Confident lies that everyone applauds because they're paid to believe. Then, during the Q&A, a hand rises in the back. Daniel Torres. Somehow credentialed. Somehow present. "Mr. Vaughn," Daniel's voice carries through the auditorium. "You projected 18% growth. But your R&D spending dropped 40%. Your top engineers left for competitors. Your flagship product's failure rate increased 300% since you changed suppliers. How do you grow when you're cutting everything that made you successful?" The room buzzes. Cameras turn. Marcus forces a smile. "Thank you for that colorful question. Our metrics are sound. Our strategy is solid. Next question. Your supply chain director took kickbacks from a defective parts manufacturer," Daniel continues, standing. "The one that supplies medical equipment. Equipment that failed during surgeries. People died. You signed off on the supplier change to save 4% on costs." The room erupts. Journalists shout questions. Investors demand answers. Marcus's face drains of color. "That's a baseless accusation from a... It's documented in your own procurement emails. which were leaked to the SEC 3 days ago. You just don't know it yet. Silence. Absolute silence. Marcus stares at Daniel across the auditorium. The boy stands straight. Calm. Sure. Security, Marcus says into his microphone. Remove this person immediately. As guards escort Daniel out, he locks eyes with Marcus one final time. You could have been great, Daniel says. But you chose to be rich instead. There's a difference. The cameras catch everything. The sentence that breaks the investor. You could have been great. But you chose to be rich instead. 3 a.m. Marcus lies awake. The sentence loops. Great. Rich. Difference. He remembers being 26. Working 100-hour weeks. Not for money. For the mission. To build something that mattered. To prove that innovation could change lives. When did that change? He thinks about his father. A factory worker who never made more than $40,000 a year. Who came to Marcus's first big product launch with tears in his eyes. You did it, his father said. You built something that helps people. His father died 8 years ago. Never saw what the company became. Maybe that's a mercy. Marcus gets up. Pours a drink. Stares at his reflection. The boy's face. Those eyes. Steady. Unafraid. Disappointed. Not angry. Disappointed. That's worse. Marcus opens his laptop. Searches for the leaked emails Daniel mentioned. Finds them on a whistleblower site. Reads them. His signature. His approval. The supplier change that saved $4 million annually. He keeps reading. Finds the reports. Surgical equipment failures. Patient complications. 3 deaths potentially linked to defective parts. His parts. The glass slips from his hand. Shatters on marble floor. Oh God, he whispers. What did I do? Reveal of the boy's background. Daniel's mother Maria finds him at his laptop at midnight. Again. Mijo, you need to sleep. I'm almost done. Done with what? She sits beside him, exhausted from her shift. Daniel hesitates. Then shows her. The research. The analysis. The months of work. What is this? Maria asks. It's how we fix what they broke, Daniel says quietly. Maria sees Vaughn Industries logo. Her face changes. Daniel. No. Mom. You don't go near that company. You don't, she stops. Closes her eyes. You know. I know Mrs. Patterson died because her 4-pump failed during surgery. I know you held her hand. I know you stayed with her family. I know you cried in the bathroom. Maria's hands shake. That's not your burden. You work in their hospital. You use their equipment. And they knew. Mom, they knew it was defective and they used it anyway. So you confronted a billionaire? Maria's voice breaks between pride and terror. Daniel, these people destroy careers. Lives. You're 14. Which means I have nothing to lose, Daniel says. And everything to prove. Maria looks at her son. When did he stop being a child? Was it when his father left? When they lost their house? When he started working at 11 to help with rent? Your teachers say you could go to MIT, she whispers. Full scholarship. That's your way out. I don't want a way out. I want to fix what's broken. Daniel takes her hand. You taught me that helping people matters more than helping yourself. So let me help. Maria pulls him close. You're so much like your father. Before he. She doesn't finish. Doesn't need to. Daniel's father was a whistleblower. Exposed corporate fraud. Lost everything. Broke under the pressure. Left. Daniel knows. That's why he has to succeed where his father failed. That's why he can't stop. Investors' internal collapse. Marcus doesn't go to the office. First time in 16 years. His assistant calls. Sir, the board wants an emergency meeting. Cancel it. Sir. Cancel everything. He sits in his empty penthouse. Reads every article about the leaked emails. The SEC investigation. The shareholder lawsuits filing. His phone explodes with calls. Lawyers. PR teams. Board members. He ignores them all. Instead, he does something he hasn't done in years. He reads his company's original mission statement. The one he wrote 20 years ago. To create technology that improves lives, not just margins. To build a company where innovation serves humanity, not shareholders. To prove that doing good and doing well aren't mutually exclusive. Who wrote that? It sounds like a stranger. Marcus opens his safe. Finds a photograph. Him at 25. Standing in a garage workshop. First prototype in hand. Eyes full of fire and hope. That man wouldn't recognize what Marcus became. He pulls out his phone. Opens his contact list. His daughter Hannah. Last call, 14 months ago. His son James. Last call, 2 years. His hands hover over their names. You could have been great. But you chose to be rich instead. He thinks about Daniel. A kid. No money. No connections. No power. But more courage than everyone Marcus employs combined. What does a 14-year-old have that Marcus lost? The answer comes quietly, belief that things can be different. Marcus makes a decision. He gets dressed. Gets in his car. Drives to find a boy who told him the truth. The boy's backstory deepens. Marcus's investigator takes 2 days to find Daniel Torres. Single mother. Night shift nurse. Father left 6 years ago after whistleblowing scandal involving. Marcus stops reading. Looks up. Daniel Torres Sr. He worked for me. Not directly, the investigator says. He was a quality control inspector at your medical division. He reported defects in surgical equipment. You dismissed him. Marcus feels something cold spread through his chest. When? 6 years ago. He filed 18 safety reports. All ignored. He went to the press. You sued him for breach of contract. He lost his house. His career. His family. I don't remember. You sign off on dozens of lawsuits annually, the investigator says neutrally. This was one. Marcus stares at the file. At the photo of Daniel Torres Sr. Haunted eyes. Defeated posture. Where is he now? Homeless shelter in Newark. Hasn't contacted his family in 5 years. Marcus closes the file. His hands aren't shaking anymore. They're numb. Daniel isn't just some genius kid. He's the son of a man Marcus destroyed. A man who was right. A man whose warnings, if heeded, would have prevented the deaths that are now destroying Marcus's company. Jesus Christ, Marcus whispers. The investigator leaves. Marcus sits alone with the weight of what he's done. Daniel didn't come to save Marcus's company. He came to finish what his father started. And Marcus deserves every bit of what's coming. Turning point. Daniel's apartment building. 6 p.m. Marcus stands outside, $7 billion net worth in a $15 an hour neighborhood. He knocks. Maria answers. Recognizes him instantly. Tries to close the door. Please, Marcus says. I need to speak with Daniel. You've done enough to this family. I know about his father. I know what I did. Maria's eyes flash with rage. You destroyed him. You took everything. I know. You knew the equipment was defective. You knew and you buried it. I know, Marcus says quietly. And I'm here because your son tried to stop me from making the same mistake again. And his voice cracks. I need to make this right. Maria stares at him. This powerful man. Broken on her doorstep. He's not here, she says finally. Where is he? The public library. Where he always goes. Where he taught himself everything because we couldn't afford tutors. She steps closer. You want to make it right? Then don't just apologize. Change. Actually change. She closes the door. Marcus drives to the library. Finds Daniel in the business section. Surrounded by books. Laptop open. Still working. You're persistent, Daniel says without looking up. Marcus sits across from him. You're your father's son. Daniel's fingers freeze on the keyboard. I know who you are, Marcus continues. I know what I did to your family. I know, he stops. Breathes. I know you have every reason to watch me burn. Then why are you here? Daniel finally looks at him. Because you were right. About everything. The patents. The turnover. The defective parts. My company is collapsing. The SEC is investigating. Shareholders are filing lawsuits. And Marcus's voice drops. 3 people died because I prioritized costs over safety. Your father tried to warn me. You tried to warn me. And I was too arrogant to listen. Daniel closes his laptop. Is this the part where you offer me money to make this go away? No. This is the part where I ask you to help me do what I should have done 6 years ago. Tell the truth. Fix the systems. Make it right. Daniel laughs. Bitter. Tired. You think I'm here to save you? No. I think you're here to save the people who'll suffer if this company fails completely. The employees. The patients who depend on our equipment. The investors who trusted us. You're not doing this for me. You're doing it because it's right. Silence. You ruined my father, Daniel says. I did. He believed in your mission. Thought he was working for something good. And you crushed him for telling the truth. I did. Why should I help you? Marcus meets his eyes. Because you're better than I am. And because someone needs to prove that the system can work. That truth can win. Your father tried and failed. But maybe together, we don't have to. Daniel stands. I'm not interested in redemption stories. He starts to walk away. Your father's alive, Marcus says. Daniel stops. I found him. Newark. I can take you to him. Daniel turns slowly. Why would you tell me that? Because whatever happens next, you deserve to know. And because. Marcus stands. Because I owe him an apology too. And I'm hoping you'll be there when I give it. Daniel's expression shifts. Pain. Hope. Fear. Tomorrow, he says finally. We go tomorrow. Marcus nods. And then we talk about fixing your company. On my terms. On your terms, Marcus agrees. The offer. They find Daniel Torres Sr. in a shelter. Thin. Gray. Broken in ways that 6 years shouldn't break a man. He recognizes Marcus immediately. Recognizes his son second. Danny? His voice cracks. Daniel crosses the room. They embrace. Father and son. Both crying. Marcus watches from the doorway, seeing the full weight of what his choices destroyed. Later, outside, Daniel turns to Marcus. You did this. I did. You could have listened. Could have believed him. Could have fixed it before people died. I could have, Marcus says. I should have. And I'll spend whatever time I have left making it right. Daniel looks at his father through the shelter window. Broken but alive. What are you offering? Full-time position. Vice President of Ethical Operations. You'll have authority to audit every division. Override any decision that compromises safety or ethics. Compensation, full college fund for you. Housing and rehabilitation for your father. Job and benefits for your mother. Daniel laughs. I'm 14. You're smarter than my entire executive team. Age is just a number on paper. And when your board finds out you hired a teenager to police your company? Then they'll fire me. And you'll still have the position. Because I'm putting it in writing. Irrevocable. Daniel studies him. Why? Because I'm tired of being rich. And I want to try being great instead. Daniel is silent for a long moment. Then shakes his head. No. Marcus blinks. No? I don't want a position in your company. I don't want your money. I don't want to be part of a system that's already broken. Then what do you want? I want you to transfer majority control to an employee trust. I want the board restructured with ethics oversight. I want whistleblower protections. I want every safety report reviewed by independent auditors. I want you to rebuild this company the way you promised to 20 years ago. Daniel steps closer. I don't want a job. I want proof that change is possible. Marcus stares at this boy. This brilliant, uncompromising boy. That'll take years. Cost millions. The board will fight me every step. Then I guess you'll have to decide what matters more. Your control or your legacy. Marcus laughs. Actually laughs. You're asking me to give up everything I built. No. I'm asking you to save it. There's a difference. Marcus extends his hand. Then let's save it together. As partners. Not employer and employee. Daniel looks at the hand. At Marcus's face. I want it in writing, Daniel says. Done. They shake. Corporate collapse. The next morning, Vaughn Industries CFO is arrested. The SEC raid freezes accounts. Stock crashes 43% in an hour. Emergency board meeting. Chaos. Accusations. Lawyers everywhere. Marcus stands at the head of the table. Calm. Here's what we're going to do, he says. We're going to tell the truth. All of it. The defective parts. The cover-up. The deaths. We're going to issue a full recall. Compensate every affected family. And we're going to rebuild this company from the ground up. That's corporate suicide, someone shouts. No. It's the right thing. Marcus looks around the table. Anyone who can't accept that has 30 days to resign with full severance. Anyone who stays commits to a new mission. Ethics first. Profit second. The shareholders will destroy us. Then let them. I'm transferring majority control to an employee trust effective immediately. This company belongs to the people who build it now. Not to people who just own it. The room explodes. But Marcus doesn't flinch. Daniel watches from the corner. Slight smile. This is what redemption looks like. Messy. Expensive. Real transformation. 6 months later. Vaughn Industries is smaller. Leaner. 20% of executives left. Stock stabilized at 60% of peak value. But employee satisfaction is up. Innovation is up. And the company just launched 3 products that actually help people. Marcus works 70-hour weeks. Not from a penthouse. From an office on the engineering floor. Next to Daniel, who deferred MIT for a year to help rebuild. They argue constantly. About ethics. Strategy. Risk. Daniel wins most of the arguments. Maria Torres works in the new company health center. Daniel's father is clean. Working in quality control again. Making sure the mistakes don't repeat. Marcus has dinner with his children. First time in years. They're cautious. But present. It's not perfect. But it's honest. One evening, Marcus finds Daniel on the roof. Looking at the city. You could be at MIT right now, Marcus says. I will be. Next year. You didn't have to stay. Yes, I did. Someone had to make sure you didn't backslide. Marcus smiles. You don't trust me. I trust that you're trying. That's enough. Daniel looks at him. My father said you weren't always like you were. Said you used to care. I did. Then I forgot why I started. Yeah. Daniel pauses. He also said that people don't really change. They just become more of what they always were underneath. What do you think? I think maybe we're both finding out. They stand in silence. 2 people who shouldn't have met. Shouldn't have worked together. Shouldn't have trusted each other. But did anyway. Thank you, Marcus says quietly. For what? For not giving up on the idea that I could be better. Daniel smiles. Thank you for proving I was right. Final meeting. 1 year later. Daniel prepares to leave for MIT. Full scholarship. Multiple offers from companies. A reputation as the teenager who changed corporate America. Marcus throws him a going-away party. Not a corporate affair. Just the people who matter. Maria. Daniel's father. The engineers who stayed. The employees who believed. Marcus pulls Daniel aside. Hands him an envelope. What's this? Read it later. They look at each other. Investor and boy. Mentor and student. Neither quite fitting anymore. You changed my life, Marcus says. No. You changed your own life. I just wouldn't let you give up. Same thing. Daniel laughs. Maybe. They shake hands. Then, on impulse, embrace. Make MIT proud, Marcus says. Make the company matter, Daniel replies. Deal. Later, on the plane to Boston, Daniel opens the envelope. Inside, a check for $7 million. And a note. This isn't payment. It's restitution. For your father. For your family. For the years I stole. Use it however you want. Start a company. Fund a non-profit. Light it on fire. But whatever you do, remember, wealth without purpose is just numbers. Legacy is what you build that outlives you. Thank you for teaching me the difference. Marcus. Daniel stares at the check. At the note. Then he pulls out his laptop and starts typing. Not a thank you. A business plan. Because the work isn't finished. It's only beginning. Final message. 5 years later. Marcus Vaughn stands before a congressional committee testifying in favor of mandatory ethics auditing for all public companies. Daniel Torres watches from the gallery. MIT graduate. Founder of a nonprofit that teaches business ethics to at-risk youth. Changed more lives by 20 than most people do in a lifetime. Their eyes meet across the room. Slight nods. Understanding. Later, a journalist asks Marcus about his transformation. What changed, she asks. Marcus thinks about that day. The boy in his boardroom. The sentence that broke him. The long, painful journey back to the person he was supposed to be. A kid told me the truth, Marcus says simply. And I finally listened. The journalist smiles. What truth? Marcus looks at the camera. At the world beyond. That the measure of success isn't what you gain. It's what you give. Not what you take, but what you build. Not who you beat, but who you lift. He pauses. A boy taught me that. And it saved my life. The screen fades. Final image, Marcus and Daniel. Side by side. Looking at architectural plans for the new Vaughn Industries headquarters. Not a monument to wealth. A testament to what's possible when you choose to be great instead of just rich. Voiceover. Daniel's voice. Quiet. Sure. They say you can't change the system from the inside. Maybe that's true. But you can change the people who run it. And sometimes, that's enough. Sometimes, one person willing to speak truth to power changes everything. Not because they're special. But because they refuse to accept that things have to stay broken. My father taught me that. Marcus proved it. And now it's your turn. Whatever room you're in. Whatever power you face. Speak truth. Demand better. Be the voice that won't be silenced. Because the world doesn't change from the top down. It changes when ordinary people refuse to accept that wrong is acceptable. Start today. Start now. Be the boy who walked into that boardroom. Be the change you want to see. And never, ever stop believing that great is still possible. Fade to black. End.